one of them. They all look the same.
I can't believe she's seen a thestral. And why should I be impressed anyway? Anyone can find a dead person to look at. She's a little liar.
Try riding a hippogriff. You'll soon learn that Kagawa's techniques are lacking practical uses. It's my favorite place in the entire school. If I didn't have that fireplace to sit next to, I think I should be terribly homesick. Always wondered what the other house's common rooms looked like. Ours is the best, of course. Still, I do wonder.
That poor first year trying to get into the Gryffindor common room. I swear the fat lady was having them on. Poor thing had to wait till next day. My great aunt was a Hufflepuff.
Do watch yourself.
She says it's the best common room on account of it being so quiet. Compared to the others, I mean. People are always fussing about in my common room. Someone was trying to come up with some sort of pepper hex the other day.
Even if I knew how to get into the other common rooms, I wouldn't bother. There's a reason I was sorted into my house.
Someone's parents sent homemade cauldron cakes, and they shared them in the common room. Think they mistook salt for sugar, mind you. Half-eaten cakes everywhere for days there were. You should hear Shah talking about divination. It's a wonder own eyes' ears don't catch a light. What's to say stars no more than cards I see? Wonder how Sharp injured his leg. I'd wager it was something to do with his time as an aura.
Speaking of astronomy, I'm surprised you're not fixated on Venus. The amount of time you spend talking.
Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over Sallow. He never backs down from a fight. Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls. You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard.
Transfiguration's far too difficult for me. Much prefer potions. I like to have a recipe to follow.
Professor Weasley's already preparing me to take my transfiguration NEWT.
Sometimes I wish someone would transfigure me into a squirrel. Then I wouldn't have to worry about doing schoolwork anymore.
Truly something to be admired.
Why does the Ministry require animagi to register themselves? Seems most intrusive to me. I don't think it's anything special if your family works at the Ministry. Makes them a boring lot if you ask me.
The people I feel sorry for are the ones who don't receive any owls. Poor things. Have you seen their little faces at the table? If anyone needs help with an essay or assignment, I don't mind lending a hand. I wrote 2 inches of bins yesterday while I was eating my lunch. It all baffles me. Take Moonstone. Whoever came up with using Moonstone in a potion? Obviously Hogwarts is the best wizarding school in the world. Everybody knows that. Of course we're going to be the best at magic. If I transfigure my poor Toad into a goblet one more time, I think he's going to insist he stay that way. Professor Howland's going to quiz us on rare water beasts next week. Can't wait to tell her I actually saw a Kelpian island over the summer. I was trapped on the grand staircase for an hour the other day waiting for it to move. Sharp didn't believe me when I told him why I was late. Have you been to the owlery lately? House elves have fallen a bit behind in cleaning this week. I need to get some dragonhide gloves for herbology. I refuse to handle Chinese chomping cabbages with bare hands. Going to harvest some knotgrass from the greenhouses today. Did you know that it's used in Polyjuice potion? Think it has something to do with being tied to another person. Any of you know where I can find some leaping toadstools? Our dorm's atrocious. I do wish people would clean up after themselves once in a while. Abundant money. Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over Sallow. He never backs down from a fight. I practiced doing a loop-de-loop on my broom all summer. What a waste of time.
I was destined to be...
Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls.
This year.
You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard.
Madame Kagawa sees Imelda Rays. She's not that good at flying.
I miss going to matches. Cheering everyone on was magnificent. And getting to see Isaac Cooper.
I'd make a fine keeper. With a bit more practice.
Not sure what I did to deserve that.
This is the first year my siblings and I are all at Hogwarts together. Our poor mother doesn't know what to do with her time, so she knits. Sends us each a new jumper every week.
Hogwarts has brought me and my siblings closer together. We've had to rely on each other without having our parents about. My older sisters taught me everything I needed to know about Hogwarts before I stepped foot in the castle, including how to sneak food from in the kitchen.
I hadn't met any of my cousins until I came to Hogwarts, and found out we were sorted into the same house.
My siblings and I have all been sorted into different houses. Came as no surprise to my father.
This is my sister's first year at Hogwarts. Every time she pretends not to see me in the halls, I can't tell the trip jinx. I took my copy of 1000 Magical Herbs and Fungi to Herbology, and I left it in the greenhouse by the mandrake seedlings. Sharp was horrified I didn't have it for his class. Said I need to get my priorities straight. I need to get some dragonhide gloves for Herbology. I refuse to handle Chinese chomping cabbages with bare hands.
Lumos.
Then I won't have to waste my time with Herbology anymore. I'll miss Professor Garlic.
Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over Sallow. He never backs down from the fight.
Snuggle off in Herbology. You know, my gloves went mysteriously missing.
My friends and I like to spend our evenings watching the sunset from the Quidditch pitch. That's all the pitch is good for this year, sadly. I was trapped on the grand staircase for an hour the other day waiting for it to move. Sharp didn't believe it. Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls. You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard. I'd like to open a shop in Hogsmeade myself one day. Glad Rags could do with some competition. Did you get your pins, or did you pick it yourself? I'm desperately in need of some. I used to write to my parents every week. Now I can't remember the last time I sent them an owl. Wonder if they know I'm still alive. Do all of the professors have their own owls? I imagine they must send a lot of letters. Likely to the Ministry. Wish I'd brought a pet owl to school. Don't misunderstand, I adore my toad. At least somewhat. Don't suppose you want a toad? The people I feel sorry for are the ones who don't receive any owls. Poor things. Have you seen their little faces at the table? If anyone needs help with an essay or assignment, I don't mind lending a hand. I wrote 2 inches for bins yesterday while I was eating my lunch. Obviously, Hogwarts is the best wizarding school in the world. Everybody knows that. Of course we're going to be the best at magic. Have you been to the owlery lately? House elves have fallen a bit behind in cleaning this week. It's good Black's children are too young to attend Hogwarts. I'd hate it if my father was headmaster. Professor Black glanced at me the other day in the Great Hall. I spit out my breakfast. Not sure it sent the right message.
Lumos.
Professor Weasley must be exhausted doing her job as well as the headmaster's. We're lucky to have her. Everyone seems to fear Professor Sharp, not me. I think the man's brilliant. Only barked at me twice this week for singeing my robes. I don't mind saying that I find it hard to comprehend that Black has a wife. What sort of witch would take that man's hand in marriage? I suppose on the other hand it means his hope for us. You should hear.
Not sure what I did to deserve that.
It's a wonder Onai's ears don't catch a light. What's to say
Lumos.
stars no more than cards, I say. This is the first year my siblings and I are all at Hogwarts together. Our poor mother doesn't know what to do with her time, so she knits. Sends us each a new jumper every week. I hadn't met any of my cousins until I came to Hogwarts, and found out we were sorted into the same house.
Black only looks out for the purebloods. He couldn't care less about the rest of us.
My parents were thrilled to hear that Black was being put in charge. Our families have been friends for centuries.
Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over Sallow. He never backs down from the fight. Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls. You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard. This is my sister's first year at Hogwarts. Every time she pretends not to see me in the halls, I cast at her with the trip jinx.
My family loves going to the Quidditch World Cup. Father was on the Barnes amateur team for a bit. Been a coach since. My sister was on the holidays this year. Hope she's bought me a new Lumos bat. We're bound to have Quidditch next year. I always feel quite safe in Hogsmeade. It's your own fault if you come unstuck. That's what my mother would say. And certainly keep away from the Hog's Head. Most untoward.
Harry Pippin certainly steered me right with that wound cleaning potion. His potion shop's better than you'd find in London, I reckon. I'd like to open this place myself. Glad you actually do.
I should have known better than to buy something from a child in the streets of Hogsmeade. Little scallywag. Gold, they said it was. More like the work of a leprechaun. Stuff disappeared in a few hours. Such a moon mind. I don't understand why people go on about vanishment being difficult. It's only one incantation. Evanesco. There, that's it.
Professor Weasley is a marvellous teacher. Never requires us to write more inches of parchment on a topic than necessary. I was distracted by Peeves and ran face first into Adelaide Oaks the other day. Our books went flying. I think it made Peeves' entire week. If I can just stop vanishing my notes when practicing Evanesco, I think I can get an... Don't get too cocky simply because you had one victory over Sallow. He never backs down from a fight. Everyone seems to fear Professor Sharp, not me. I think the man's brilliant. Only barked at me twice this week for singeing my robes. Wonder how Sharp injured his leg. I'd wager it was something to do with his time as an aura. I don't mind saying that I find it hard to comprehend the Black... Heard you're defending Hogsmeade against trolls. You know, there is...